moving on, and we want to look at we're taking on impact of the pandemic and of course SARS protests as it relates to the population in Nigeria. And we have joining us shortly via a phone call the Honorable Federal Commissioner representing Delta State at the National Population Commission. We would talk to him in a bit now so that we'll feel his pause on the impact so far on population, of course, talking about census whatsoever. So we'll definitely connect with him now. As yeah, it's a pleasure to have you join us, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. We are actually on to Sir Richard Odibo, is the Honorable Federal Commissioner representing Delta State of the National Population Commission. And of course, he will intimate us further on his activities so far, by and large, the impact of the pandemic and of course the SARS protest as it relates to the population. First, we want to fill his pause on his activities so far. I'm not alone. I'm together with my colleague, Onome, Tanno.
Yes, a very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I would want you to share with us a bit about your activities so far and of course the position of census, as it were, before the pandemic and of course after the pandemic.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Yeah. We are aware of the National Population Commission that was established sometime in 1988 in the federal government through an act. And part of our mandate is to generate data and provide to the federal government for purpose of planning and development. So that is our main area of focus. And the last census, was conducted in the year 2006. Since then, we've been having a lot of projections. But being said that we were 140 million, 160, 200, even over 200. These are all based on projections by different agencies, even the National Population Commission. But the main thing that we at the National Population Commission is driving is that there should be a period. They said the census should be carried out periodically, but it should be specified, just like we have INEC carrying out elections every 4 years. The best work practice for census should be every 10 years, at most, every 10 years.
Okay.
If it's not done at maximum 10 years, it gives room for good planning. At the state level, at the national level, at the state level, and even at the local government level. Because if you don't know the people you have, the demography of the population, you cannot plan. You agree with me that even in your own home, if you don't have an idea of those that are spending time in your home, you cannot plan. So we are talking about planning for a country, the roads, the nature of the roads, the schools, what type of schools, how we're going to plan the schools, the hospitals. These all come into play. So for the National Population Commission, census it covers a whole lot of area.
Okay.
It is very, very important. You don't take census for granted. That is why the president, even yesterday, in this precarious situation we find ourselves, he went ahead to constitute the full house. Yesterday, the president inaugurated the chairman, the executive chairman, and 11 other members.
Okay.
Yesterday. So we now have a full house, and he has just approved something for us, some amount of money which is everywhere, I'm sure you all are aware.
So quickly, the Federal Commissioner, sir, before the COVID pandemic, Nigerians were not too sure of its population. So quickly, can you just bring us up to speed on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Nigeria's population?
Thank you very much. It will be, first of all, let me talk about the pandemic. You know, it's a disease, a worldwide disease, and definitely a lot of people died out of the pandemic. The Nigerian, the NCDC is giving us daily figures. We have all that. But just now we are working in collaboration with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and the Presidential Task Force. So we have to write to them to work in collaboration with them. So we're generating same data that they have. But we cannot, the pandemic is not over yet.
Okay.
Before now we had some projections.
Okay.
And the projections still remain, because as we have both deaths, we also have deaths. The pandemic enabled, the pandemic made people, there was a lockdown after during the pandemic, and a lot of people were confined to their homes. When they are confined, you know the after effect after 9 months. On a lighter note, so as we are generating more people, so also a lot of people died. So we cannot come up with any figure just now. The good thing is that we are working in collaboration with NCDC.
All right, you talked about the framework for the main census, and I know that there's no way we can talk about that without actually looking at the EAD exercise, the enumeration area demarcators. Now, bring us up to speed more on the framework for the main census.
Yeah, thank you very much. So today we are in Ughelli North.
Okay.
So we are in one local government in each state of the federation just now. We have been battling with that because of the paucity of funds, managing to put it together. But we cannot waste too much time carrying out that exercise if you are going to use it for census. So that census will be carried out within a short time so that it will be meaningfully used for the main census. That was why the federal government a few weeks ago approved the sum of 10 billion naira for us. We have 774 local governments in the country. And as at last month, we've done just a little bit above 200 local governments. So we have over 500 local governments left. That was what that money was approved for.
That's huge.
It's huge when you look at the figure, it's huge, but we are mobilizing men and materials into the fields. Okay. We use satellite imagery. We have a satellite imagery of all the local governments. And for every local government we go to, what we are doing in effect, what you mean by EAD, is breaking down the geographical space into smaller units for ease of enumeration during the main census. So we have demarcators down that have been mobilized. We are going from local government to local government. After this one we are doing now, we are going to take like 3-5 local governments at once so that we can finish it at a short time. But it involves a lot of mobility, men and materials, like I said. It's like we're going counting households. You are counting each house. So imagine counting a household. The household makes up an enumeration area.
Okay.
Makes up an enumeration area, a household, different houses, number of households, depending on the occupants of those households. You can say 150 to about 200, or even 100 to about 200 makes up an enumeration area. So when you break down the local government into different enumeration areas, it becomes easy for you to mobilize like maybe 2-3 enumerators to take on one enumeration area. Okay. That is the essence of it. But I want to appeal here quickly, because a lot of people don't understand. This is the main frame of the census. The census is just the icing on the cake. We should not take this seriously, because these demarcators are like NYC members. I'm not saying they are NYC, but like they are live, because they are mostly ad hoc staff, and we mobilize them to go and work. Okay. Some people drive them, they don't cooperate with them, but I'm talking just now through you people to Deltans that they should please cooperate with the demarcators so that tomorrow you won't say that your area was not properly enumerated.
Okay, Sir Richard, just before we let you go, can you just throw light on the possible advantages of having the census in the country?
Thank you very much. I was in my introduction. I also touched on that a little.
Okay.
Census is the act of trying to get the population of a people, right?
Yes.
And if you don't have the population of the people, reliable figures, how do you plan for the people? It is not political. A lot of people see it as a political thing, or it will be used to delineate our wards and what have you, further constituencies and all that. The main object of census, the importance of census is for developmental and planning purpose. I want us to get that one right into our heads.
Okay, sir.
It is more important than the political aspect. It's for the economic and social development of the country.
Okay, now let's look at the enumeration exercise. We talked about the EAD, and is it currently you are at? It's currently going on at Ughelli, and you're also looking at the
Ughelli North.
Ughelli North. Okay, Ughelli North.
Yeah.
Now, how long will it take to actually do that? To carry on the EDA exercise there? Is it a week or 2 weeks before you go over to, another area?
No. Thank you. We don't rush it because, like I said, the main framework. We don't rush it.
Okay.
We have an idea of about 4 weeks, right?
Okay.
But usually not, unfortunately, it's a very big local government, one of the biggest local government in the state. So we will definitely exceed 4 weeks.
Okay.
It's not what we work on. There's no guesswork on it. It is the satellite imagery we have of Ughelli North. We have in our hand devices, and we send the marketers out to go and identify what we have on ground alongside with what you have on the hand devices.
Okay.
And when I say satellite, it's exactly, if you don't have any house there, sorry, there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you're talking about the compliance level of Nigerians with the exercise. Just as we round off, what message are you actually passing on to them in terms of cooperation when they have one of the enumerators at the doorsteps?
Yes, last week I had an experience in Ughelli where some persons were driving our demarcators. Oh, no, you should go with government workers, federal government workers. You are the ones killing us, that. What is the correlation? What's the relationship between the demarcator who is coming to help you, your area, to what is happening, the protest? That was why at the introduction level I was asking if 4 people have not been carried away as palliatives on a lighter note. We should try to educate our people in the different communities that these demarcators are there to help them to make sure that we get reliable census at the end of the day.
Okay.
If they don't demarcate properly, you cannot put human beings in air. The human beings have to be in households, they have to be in houses, and they are counting the houses.
Okay.
It is these houses that we use tomorrow. We'll say, okay, we have 1 million persons here, and these 1 million persons are in these houses. Because the houses, we are seeing them, it has gone scientific. It's not like before, you also this area, okay, maybe about 500 people are living in this area. You count 490, and just okay, it's 500. No, we've gone scientific.
Okay. So how important is the registration process of birth certificates as it relates to age level? Because we find out that some persons would say, well, your certificate is not valid, even if you have to use it anywhere. They'll tell you they want the National Population Commission kind of certificate. So how will you speak to that, birth certificate fees as it relates to age levels as well?
Thank you very much. It's a common problem with Nigerians. I've seen so many people having their children in hospitals or health centers, Thereafter, they also have a delivery certificate from the hospital, and they go home and go and do Thanksgiving and continue with their lives. This child that you have not been registered by the federal government. It is the National Population Commission certificate that you require for that child to be seen as a Nigerian citizen. So from age 0 to 17, you can register your children in any national population office. We have our offices in the 7 ranks on the 4 local governments of the country. So it's not a difficult thing. Just ask for the nearest NPC office. Go there with your child with the certificate from the hospital, and they'll give you a birth certificate from NPC. That is how we can.
Hello, sir. Obviously for a fee.
Sorry?
I say it's obviously for a fee.
A fee?
No. It's free. It's free. 0 to 17 is free. But from 18, if you stay up to 18 years and you didn't collect your certificate, it means that you have reasons not to have collected your certificate, and you will be penalized for that. So you pay a token. Not when I mean penalized, it's not that you're going to pay thousands. You pay a token, which will be used for, because those products are all printed, but the government is giving to you between the age of 0 to 17 for free. But from 18 and above, you probably have lost even if you've lost, because we are all going digital now. So if you have a certificate before and you lost it, you should go and say, I have lost it. Not that I want a new one.
Okay, very quickly, as we are actually running off, we want to feel your thoughts on, the economic impact of the recent NSAS protest violence, because we do know that lots of government properties have been destroyed, and while we're counting losses, we'll pray that we do not have that kind of issue anymore. Now, how will you speak to the economic impact of this devastation?
It's economically devastating on the country. No one expected it. The protest was a genuine and genuine one, but of course the leadership was not there to direct, so it was hijacked by hooligans. We all know what happened, and we must commend the federal government for its ability to handle it, though we have issues here and there, which I think over time it will be resolved. So many of these things are still hazy to so many people, but some of us know exactly what transpired. I must commend the federal government, and even the state government, Delta in particular. Yes, I learned there were issues in Asaba, and some issues here and there. It all started from Delta State, unfortunately. Really not precisely where I'm even demarcating now.
Okay.
But when it started, nobody expected it to snowball into the level it got to. The economic devastation is massive. You are talking of hundreds of, in billions. You can imagine what happened to Lagos State. It would have been worse with Delta. But I'm aware that the executive governor got all the local government chairmen, and maybe they appealed down to the grassroots. So they were able to manage it a lot in Delta State, but it's not a good thing now to pay your leaders. It's that kind of devastation does not happen to the country. It's not easy for you to just be coming out from a pandemic and you're going into this kind of protests. You're consuming so much. The buses that were bought in Lagos now, who are those that want to use those buses? Those that bought the buses. So you cut your nose to spite your face. It's unfortunate.
All right, thank you very much. We've been interacting with Sir Richard Odibo, the Honorable Federal Commissioner representing Delta State at the National Population Commission, intimating us further on the effects of the pandemic and, of course, the recent protests on the population. And, of course, he just said that we do not have a certain figure to it as it relates to census. It's all speculation, but we're working towards the tennis. It's also very important that will take the census every 10 years. We appreciate your interaction with us on the ride this morning. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you. This is a morning ride. Of course, we're still observing the holiday. Yes, it is a Muslim holiday. And in line with that, we'll still have another
Muslim cleric.